Hello and welcome to another video. We are here at the lovely Anglesey in the beautiful Welsh summertime for rounds 6, 7 and 8 of the CityCar Cup. So we're just about to go out for qualifying. Really unsure what the weather's going to do. As you can see in the background, big grey clouds, but it's only a little bit of drizzle in the air, and this track being so abrasive here, it's not really wet. It's like a dry line forming already. So I think we're going to stick with our sort of more dry running tyres, but with a bit of a softer setup on the dampers and stuff, so, and a bit on the pressures as well. So be a bit of a mixture of setups, but what I don't want to do is go full dry and it'd be crap, and then it'll go full wet and it'd be crap. So a bit of an interesting one, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. It's coming right up. So welcome on board here at Anglesey, going into my fastest lap of qualifying, making sure I get a good run out of the last corner here. So coming along the start finish straight, very short of this track, going into T1, flat out in these cars in third gear. Gets a little bit loose mid-corner, got to float it out to the outside, back out to the outside for this corner. This turn is called the banking. It's got a lot of banking, you've got to chuck it in right here. Long straight after this, so the exit is very important. I'm getting a good tow here from Chris McKenzie. Up to third gear, flat out around here. Then you got the long back straight. The wind was straight in our face all weekend for this as well, so the tow was so important for this. You can see, well, you can't quite see, but on my lap timer you can see the green dots coming up, showing I was getting faster and faster. Heavy braking zone up here into Rocket, down to second gear. I actually had to slow down a bit more than I wanted to here from Chris in front of me, but it was all good. Coming out the second part of Rocket, Chris pulls out of the way, you see me coming up quickly. I knew this was a good lap at the moment. Coming into Peel, little lift and then straight back on the throttle here to stabilise it. Coming over the hill there, brilliant view as you're coming round, easy to get distracted. Coming down to Siemens, back down to second for this, and a really good exit coming out of here. You've got to get a good exit for this uphill stretch up to the hairpin. This is the international loop, so it's a longer version. Really heavy braking zone here, tight hairpin, down to second gear. Trying to get a late apex here to get a good run. Got a really good line through here. Use all the exit curb, really hot on track limits are there. Back down the hill, back to the bus stop, which is the final turn. Really heavy braking zone, really tough corner this one, slightly off camber and really slippery on the inside as well. So the car was bouncing a bit around here, couldn't really get rid of it. Ran it right out to the outside. That was my fastest lap, which was a 58.93. I knew it could be a lot better, another about 4 attempts in that lap. But yeah, happy with where it was. The car felt really good. The setup wasn't great for that session. So I knew I had it all to do, but the pace was there, so pretty happy. Yeah, so just had quali, ended up P5 overall, which is all right. There's more pace in the car. Went a little bit too on the edge of the wet setup, to be honest. It is bone dry out there, even though it didn't look that way. Back at our Airbnb, it's very lovely. Having a nice little peanut butter on bagels for lunch, you know. Lovely, eh? Yeah, so the race isn't until like 5:20 this evening, so time to chill out a bit and look at some data, see where we were quick, because we were about 0.6 quicker than we were in testing yesterday in the dry. Even though we were on like a wet setup, I was struggling a bit with understeer. I think I was about half a second off the pole time, and there's a couple of times I was about 0.4 up and I got held up. So pace is there. Yeah, just got to see what we can do in the race. Hopefully the conditions stay dry and try and push forward. Coming up.
I think revs starting to rise. 15 minutes of Nankai Tyre CityCar Cup action getting underway now as the lights go out, and it's a good start made by Andrew Dyer, I believe, from the outside of row 1. He should be able to hold the lead through turn 1. I, meanwhile, will be holding my breath as they all pour through Target Corner for the first time. It's pretty orderly stuff so far as they round the quick left-hander and head towards the banking on lap number 1. A clean run through the first corner. Now they hit the brakes and they barrel into the bank right-hander. And the high line might be the place to go, actually, because it's very congested on the inside line. And these are momentum cars. They don't have a huge amount of power, so if you keep it wound up around the outside there, that should benefit you by the time you arrive down at Church Corner. That's exactly what Richard Jepp has done. He's broken through into, well, nearly fourth position. He's going to get a book draft now from Ben Spencer at the school straight, and will bring the best of those Peugeots from 5th on the grid to 3rd as we head towards Rocket for the first time. He's the orange and black car, so 4th place that is, as they hit the brakes at the top of the hill, and a big lunge up the inside for another one of the Peugeots. To the outside goes Alistair May. He was latest of the lot on the brakes. He bounces over the grass. There's contact with Ben Spencer. Someone got spat out of line there, I think, and it was Spencer. It was Ben Spencer, the Castrol livery Toyota. Wrong place, wrong time, and he will plummet down the order probably outside of the top 20.
That was really, really unfortunate for him. Just wrong place, wrong time. And we've said that Alistair May, last of the late breakers, he seriously outbroke himself there. Tried to get the steering lock on to bring it back onto the circuit, into the path of a couple of drivers though, and a few issues on this first lap of the race. Let's work together, or just, as I'm Stuart Bliss and I can't get past him. Whichever one it is, they haven't made any changes to position just yet. They head up to Rocket now, and this is looking a little bit more feisty. Mackenzie on the rear bumper of Bliss, but can't find a way past. It actually might be a late-minute dive to the inside for the number 65. Leans on the 21. That's Richard Jepp trying to find an opening, trying to find a way through. He'll go for the up and under off of Rocket, and that's going to work beautifully for the 65 of Richard Jepp. Sorry, the aggressiveness on the initial attempt at the overtake has worked out on the exit, and he snuck on through into the podium places.
Very impressive stuff, and again a great example of how important momentum is, because usually, certainly if we think back to the Front Cup race earlier on, where we saw that play out so many times, it was the car on the right hand side of the road, generally going into Rocket, that came out a bit ahead.
Again, but we continue to keep our eyes fully focused on this leading battle, and I think what you were saying, really coming to the fore here, mate. Richard Jepp is starting to close in on Stuart Bliss.
Yeah, Jepp's the pace man, isn't he, at the moment? I'll be interested to see what this lap time is, because he's been in clean air at least for the first part of it, has closed right back in now on the leading 2 as they head for the hairpin. So we have just under 3.5 minutes to go, so there should be 2 more laps to go at the end of this one. 2 laps, 2 cars to overtake is not beyond the realms of possibility here for Richard Jepp to get a win, because that Peugeot is clearly operating well, particularly under brakes. Here into the final turn, he's not behind Stuart Bliss into the braking zone, but not quite close enough. Does though visibly, I saw that out of the window, visibly closing in on Stuart under braking. So Richard Jepp's advantage is in the braking zone, definitely. How though can he utilise that over the final 2 laps to try and get at least second, and maybe even have a go for the race win?
Indeed, he's looking good for it, isn't he? He's got a lot of confidence in that car, which is brilliant to see for Richard Jepp. And like you were talking about, yeah, new fastest lap of the race, down in the 58s, a good few tenths clear of the drivers around him on that last lap around the circuit for sure, but a lot of drivers still setting those personal bests.
To steer wide over that exit curb, they'll keep it within the lines, come across the line to start the final lap in the same order. Personal best lap that time for Stuart Bliss, so yes, he did close in on the leader, 3.5 tenths back. He was 3 tenths faster than the leader that time around. Richard Jepp with a little nibble at the inside of Stuart Bliss there at the banking. So they're all sort of converging on each other now, right at the end of the race. It's not over this one. Andrew Dyer's had it under control so far, but Stuart Bliss might be spurred into having a go at his Boston College Racing teammate, because he can't really afford to just settle into second place. Richard Jepp is right there. Up the hill we go. And only an eye goes length in it now between the top 2. Is Stuart Bliss going to have a go on the brakes? He doesn't even think about the inside line. That's interesting. Just covers off Richard Jepp behind him. And right now will be the last opportunity really for anyone to have a go at Andrew Dyer. Out a little bit wide there is Bliss through the second part of Rocket, and that opens the door for Richard Jepp. He's got the overlap towards Peel, and that was a tiny mistake from Stuart Bliss. Just drifted half a car's width wide through the right-hand element of Rocket, and Richard Jepp needed no second invitation. He's through to second, and now trying to defend that to the flag. I don't think he's going to have time to go after Andrew Dyer, but this has been a brilliant drive from Richard Jepp, 5th on the grid, methodically, clinically, and really cleanly picking his way through the order. And he's second now as we head down the straight towards the hairpin for the final time. He's not defending the inside line, because we know he's confident under braking. Turns into the corner, into the late apex, that's time actually. Stuart Bliss turn now, I think Chris Mackenzie closing in the best of the sequence he wants. Andrew Dyer, I think, who gets the win, but really driver of the race, Richard Jepp, having charged through the 3rd row of the grid, nicely with challenge for the race lead. It's going to be second place though for the Peugeot 107 driver. Off the final corner they come towards the checkered flag, and Andrew Dyer claims a lights to flag victory in the Nankai Tyre CityCar Cup. Richard Jepp comes home in second, and Stuart Bliss third. All 3 of them Student Motorsport Challenge cars. It was then Chris Mackenzie in the 4th position. Pollock, Anglesey Circuit, Alex Foden, Phil House, Richard Snuggs, and Joe Moss. Richard Jett charging forward into second, and within a second of the victory at the checkered flag, it was Stuart Bliss third, Chris Mackenzie the first of the non-Student Motorsport Challenge cars in fourth, ahead of Brayton Pollock, Alistair May, Alex Foden, Phil House, Richard Snuggs, and Joe Moss complete the top 10.
So we're back here at Anglesey, ready for day two. Obviously you've seen the evening's activities, really great night. Steve Moss's 60th, it was great to get everyone together. Wine shirts and flat caps, it was all good. Yeah, it's starting P2 today, Dyer in pole, to see what we can do.
Start procedure for those at the back of the field. Those at the front there, it's a bit more straightforward. It is Andrew Dyer and Richard Jett at the front of the grid. The red lights go out now, and a very even start as you'd expect really. Jett is certainly hanging with Dyer as they turn into the first corner, but Dyer's got the shorter run-through target, which should be flat out on the opening lap, you would imagine, for those at the front of the field anyway. And it will be yesterday's winner who hangs on to the lead heading out of the turn. They arrive at the banking with the Toyota Aygo defending the middle of the road there, so the Peugeot driver not able to get through. Mackenzie, though, has broken through into third, so Chris Mackenzie getting ahead of Stuart Bliss for third place, and he's still trying to complete that manoeuvre as we arrive down at Church, but I think he should be able to make the inside line work and claim third place. Maybe not, actually, because Stuart Bliss has some confidence on cold tyres, goes around the outside of him, and they're still side by side as they head up the hill. The leading two, though, working together. Look at this, with Richard Jett pushing Andrew Dyer up the hill, and it's working because they're distancing themselves considerably from the third place battle. Mackenzie on the outside, Stuart Bliss on the inside. Who's the last of the late breakers? Well, they both run wide in the end, and they might open the door for the cars behind to come through. Alistair May is one of them, and he gets shuffled out wide a little bit through the Rocket Complex. We'll sort that all out when they get to Peel. Mackenzie definitely still in third. Phil House is going slowly, and cars have to scatter onto the grass to avoid him. I think Phil maybe missed a gear there going up into Peel corner, and others had to really take avoiding action. I think that might have possibly been Alistair May again losing a bit of ground. It's not been a great lap for him. The leading two, though, so far so good, John. They have distanced themselves considerably from the rest of the field. That is the benefit of working together.
Indeed, yeah, both Bliss and Mackenzie trying to be the last of the late breakers there into Rocket, and both left it a bit too late, going a bit deep, fighting it out though. Back ahead gets Mackenzie.
Yes, Mackenzie then with third position. They round the hairpin and head to the end of the opening lap of the race. A lively one, but generally speaking a fairly clean one. A few moddy panels maybe are sporting other people's paintwork at the moment, but they're all still going, and they arrive at the final turn. Brilliant sight they make as they round the final corner and at the end of the opening lap.
I think it was the 97 who was trying to cover off and squeeze the 83 to the inside. Bit too much squeezing as they got to the apex though, because the 83 still thought, I've got enough here, I'm going to hold it there. Wide goes Jett, seriously wide, almost into another post cone.
Wow, that was very late on the race from Richard Jett, ambitiously so, you'd have to say, and it did not work, so he ends up nearly losing second place actually to Stuart Bliss. Richard Jett there, so late on the brakes was he that he was almost on the grass up at Rocket, and now he's understeering wide again at Peel, so hopefully, well, he's probably got dirt on his tyres to be fair, having gone rally crossing a couple of corners earlier. That takes all of the pressure though away from Andrew Dyer. Jett was trying to challenge Dyer on the outside into Rocket, and yeah, a little bit too late on the brakes on that occasion, but we know he's got speed. Yesterday he showed that, so I think if he gets his head down and is left alone by Stuart Bliss, then they might still be able to catch the leader. The trouble is that Stuart Bliss has absolutely no reason to work with Richard Jett here, because yes, I'm sure he would like to have a crack at the race win, but to do that it means catching his teammate who is out in front, and I don't think he's going to want to help Richard Jett in that over the next few minutes.
But Richard Jett, after making that serious dive bomb earlier on at Rocket, he lost quite a bit of time because of that, but he has now closed the gap once again. Impressive stuff.
There's no doubt to me that Jett is the fastest man on track, isn't he? Certainly in this lead bunch anyway, because yeah, he was over a second adrift only a lap and a half ago. He's right back on the tail of Andrew Dyer now as they head down the Tom Price straight, so He's got the speed, but now he's got to try and find a way through. And the trouble is, if he goes for a move, he's got Dyer's teammate, Stuart Bliss, right behind him, waiting to take advantage. So it would be easy to end up losing second place here for Richard Jebb. Yeah, Joe Moss getting hung out to dry then in the banking, isn't he? And might lose another spot as they head to Church Corner. He's on the outside line, has his nose ahead, but that's not really the preferred line through Church, especially at this late stage of the weekend. There's a lot of rubber build-up and dirt on the outside line. Speaking of the outside, that's where Richard Jebb is. He's trying it again into Rocket, can't make it stick, but that time at least stayed vaguely within track limits. But now you see that danger that I was referring to. By going wide, he leaves himself vulnerable to attack from Stuart Bliss, and Stuart in the second of the BCR cars wanting to try and make it a 1-2 for the team, as it was at the end of qualifying. It's mysterious to me though, John, that Richard Jebb was only 5th quickest in qualifying, because again, in race conditions, he's quite clearly faster than these two. He made so many great overtakes yesterday, but it's this one more overtake that he needs to make to grab the win that is proving elusive. We're on to the final lap of the race, disappointingly. It's been a very entertaining race. I think all of those cars, there are 2 cars still stationary in the Rocket Corner. Surely they're going to have to stop this, because those 2 cars look to me like they're in the middle of the road. The leaders are heading towards Church. It will at the very least be a yellow flag zone that greets them at the top of the hill though, so that's Richard Jebb's opportunity to overtake gone. Surely that's been the one place that he's looked like he might be able to take the challenge to Andrew Dyer, and he's going to head into a yellow flag zone, and that's going to mean he can't make the move. Still those 2 cars are stationary there. Head towards the braking zone. There's a challenge here for second place. Stuart Bliss is up the inside. Now he's gone through, but did he do that in the yellow flag zone or just before it? He must think it was in the yellow flag zone, because he backs out of it and lets Jebb go. But, well, in fairness, actually, those 2 cars are off the road, aren't they? From our angle, it looks like they're in the middle of the track, but there is, in fact, one of them got going. It looks like, so it's just Josh Jackson's car. There's the other one. It's just torn a little bit further round the corner. So, okay, it's not a road blockage, I suppose, but yellow flags meant no overtaking. That was a get-out-of-jail-free card, really, for Richard Jebb, because I think he was about to lose second place there to Stuart Bliss. Stuart backed out of it and actually has dropped noticeably back from the leading 2, so Jebb's under no pressure now as they head down towards the hairpin. I don't think he's close enough still into the final turn, so it's going to be a very well-managed race this for Andrew Dyer. He came under threat a couple of times from Richard Jebb, who looked to me like the quicker of the 2, but it doesn't matter if you can't find a way past the race leader. Andrew Dyer is the race leader out of the final corner, and for the second time this weekend, he's a race winner in the Nankang Tyre CityCar Cup, and another victory in the Student Motorsport competition as well. Richard Jebb second, and Stuart Bliss comes home in third. Spectators are weathering the conditions, enjoying the racing though. Good to see smiles on their faces as the CityCar Cup once again put on a show for the Anglesey crowd. Andrew Dyer, the race winner, Richard Jebb second, and Stuart Bliss in third, ahead of Chris Mackenzie and Alistair May. Alex Foden sixth, ahead of Ben Spencer. Then it was Christopher Parks, Phil House and Rainey Pollock to complete the top 10.
So just in from race 2, started P2 at great pace, managed to keep on the back of Andrew Dyer. Made a couple of mistakes trying to get past him, to be honest, to drop back a bit. Gave me a bit of space, so I got the fastest lap again of the race, I think, at that point. So yeah, pace was definitely there. Starting P9 for race 3, because the top 3 drivers had to start 10th, 9th and 8th, and then the 7 behind that down to P10 random. So who knows what the grid will be. It usually creates a bit of carnage. Lovely views in the background though. So yeah, race 3 coming right up.
The 15 minutes are on the clock, and when those red lights go out, our final Nankang Tyre CityCar Cup race of the weekend will be on the way. That happens now. It's a good start from Spencer, I think, from the front row of the grid, so he will lead them into turn 1. Alistair May should be able to slot across into second position. It's then neck and neck for third between Christopher Parks and Chris Mackenzie. Through target they head, 3 and 4 abreast further back, but I think they're all giving themselves just enough space as they hand through the left-hander. Spencer then with the advantage. Look at Richard Jebb there on the outside line. He's already level with Phil House, so the 2 Peugeots together, and Phil House has sort of gone backwards off the line. Not a great start for him, and Jebb is now on the outside of a 3-wide situation. Phil House on the inside, and one of those BCR cars in the middle. That's Stuart Bliss. There's still 3 wide on corner exit. Phil House bails out of it, and it's a 3-car bump draft up the middle, and that is going to hang out to dry Richard Jebb. Fantastic stuff. Incredibly close quarters racing. Jebb thought he had that move made and ended up losing 2 positions. Now into the braking zone at Rocket we go. If they all get through here, it's an absolute miracle. Hold your breath. So far so good. Well, fantastic driving standards from the CityCar Cup drivers. I don't really know how, John, but they're all still there after some very, very high stakes stuff on the back straight.
I can't believe it. We're going 3, 4, 5 wider points there heading up into Rocket, but somehow they've all made it through. You head up the back, not so straight, up towards Rocket once again. It's a great run from second and third place that I can see out the window. There they are on your screens now. doesn't cover the inside line, sort of goes to the middle of the track there, moving second place, late on the brakes from the 12 of Brady Pollock. Tries to hang it around the outside though, does Alistair May. He might just about be able to keep the nose in there and hold on. They're still going to be side by side as they head through the exit, and they continue on side by side here. Who will have it? Of course, inside line then for Alistair May. That's the place to be. Can he shuffle Brady Pollock out wide? Yes, he can. Holds on to the place, and there's the 21 of Mackenzie trying to get involved as well. He's
trying to figure a way past Alistair May. Off the road has gone the number 68 car. That I think is at the top of the corkscrew section, isn't it? And more cars bouncing wide out of the hairpin. And they gather it together, I think, as they run down towards the conclusion of lap number 2. So will they be able to regroup and go back after him, I wonder, before too much longer? Out wide there was Dyer, I think that was, wasn't it? So he's still, well, he's up to 6th actually. He's ahead of Stuart Bliss now. In fact, Stuart Bliss and Richard Jepp have all gone ahead of Alex Foden. That's what's happened. So Foden in the dark blue car falling down the order. Chris Mackenzie and Brady Pollock are still debating 3rd position, and I think that battle's going to continue on all the way down into the last corner. Pollock's got the inside, Mackenzie on the outside, but Mackenzie may have had his nose ahead as they came off the corner.
Indeed it has. Alistair May trying to close back up to the rear of Ben Spencer's car. I thought in all of that squabbling it'd be the perfect opportunity for Spencer to get well clear of the rest of them. He hasn't quite been able to do that, and Alistair May looking to go with him then. That's Mackenzie and Pollock side by side through the banking. Mackenzie on the outside as we head down into the fast right-hander of Church. Brady Pollock will try to hold that inside line and shove Mackenzie off to the grass on the outside. Will just about do just that, but Mackenzie has held the line well, has carried the momentum, and now it's really the choice of Parks in behind. Who does he decide to push up towards the top section of the circuit? He's going to go for the outside line and try and hang it around the outside here, or maybe even both of them.
Oh, Pollock's done a good job to get to the front of this group though. He's tried a few times and kept getting shuffled back. He's into 3rd now though. Then it's Mackenzie, then Parks, I think, although he's on the inside of Mackenzie actually, and as they both drift out wide, look at Richard Jepp. Jepp is on the inside of Andrew Dyer. This is significant. They've been the top 2 in the previous 2 races, and Jepp is now to the inside. Oh, and Parks, who is sideways, he drifts out wide. Jepp backed out of it, in fairness. There's still 3 abreast on corner exit. This is brilliant stuff. The reverse grid is absolutely delivering, and Richard Jepp very nearly found that falling into his lap. As it is, he might actually fall behind the other Peugeot of Phil House as they drop down the hill. Stuart Bliss has dropped behind them all, so he's really lost out on this lap. Brilliant racing, and Brady Pollock at long last breaks through into 3rd place.
Yeah, wow, they were all trying to be as aggressive as each other. It was good. Someone had to have an issue out of that. Just a little love tap there from Richard Jepp. As we say, he's got the fastest lap so far in this race, pressing on really nicely. And if I remember correctly, he had the fastest lap in race number 2. He did. Did he have the fastest lap in race number 1? Don't have any date on that, but last one he definitely did. Big move down the inside. That's Dyer trying to make a move. The number 15 pressing on by. He's got that inside line down to the first corner. Of course, Richard Dyer, the winner. Andrew Dyer, the winner of both race 1 and race number 2. It's made it a bit more challenging for him here with this reverse to try and win race number 3, but he's doing his best to do so side by side as they head into the banking, and actually he could get hung out to dry here.
Jepp nearly got into the back of Chris Parks there, but has he forced the door open? I'm not sure he has. He might lose out actually to Andrew Dyer as they head down into Church Corner. So how's this one going to pan out? Jepp to the inside, Dyer to the outside. Who gets freight train? That's the question. I think it might be Dyer, might it? Or is Bliss going to make it 3 abreast? Yes, he does. Stuart Bliss goes on the inside of both of them. There's a bit of a squeeze up the school straight. There's a real squeeze. Look at that, banging doors at the fastest part of the circuit. And Andrew Dyer, well, I thought was going to back out of it. He has got the inside line if he wants it, though. And yes, he does want it. Commits to the inside line. Bliss, though, goes around the outside of the lot. Stuart Bliss read the situation perfectly. 2 places gained, and he's ahead now of the 2 drivers who he trailed in the previous 2 races.
Unbelievable. 2 for the price of 1. We all love a good deal, and moves through does Stuart Bliss. Great overtaking and showing why he's one of the consistent front runners in this championship. The issue is he's got 2 of the other consistent front runners right behind him as they come down into the hairpin and looking for it down the inside. Sticking the nose in there is the 65 of Richard Jepp. They're going to lean on each other through the hairpin, and again it'll be side by side down to the final corner.
Yeah, but remember Bliss has got his teammate Dyer behind. Will Dyer choose to help him down this straight, or is he instead going to go to the outside? He's gone to the outside, interestingly, so Jepp I think is going to go through. Yes, he does, and Dyer tries to go around the outside of Bliss. This is a turn for the books. Andrew Dyer then, who's been shuffled back a little bit on that lap, trying to undo some of that damage. He's on the outside of his teammate into the first corner. Still they run door handle to door handle, and if Dyer does hang tough around the outside, which he has done, he'll have the inside line for the banking. Alistair May on the previous lap was about half a tenth quicker than him, but it's that 3rd place man, the blue car with the fluorescent yellow highlights, who is the fastest car on track, and with 4 minutes still to go, he could yet win it.
He definitely could. More moves up to the top of the circuit. That's Jep trying it round the outside. Has he outrated himself though? Yes, just about. We'll have to slot back in. I'm so impressed with these drivers consistently running door to door, lap on lap on lap. It's amazing. I think there's definitely potential here. Fastest lap of the race you mentioned earlier on. He's got a bit of clear air now. Eyes fully focused on the driver in the lead of Ben Spencer, but we're watching here that battle for third. They continue side by side up to Rocket once more. However, Mackenzie on the outside line. We've seen that work a few times up here. They're getting so close, just about giving the room there up to the top section of the circuit. We see Jep as well trying the exact same move just in behind. It doesn't work out for him, and that was kind of a rinse and repeat of exactly what we saw in the last lap. Dyer trying to get involved, but unable to find an opening as well.
And maybe have a go at Spencer at the top of the hill. Ben Spencer has led this race, let's not forget, from start till, well, nearly finish. A lap or so away now from the checkered flag. Can he stay there until the checkered flag and claim his first win of the season? And to the last corner we come then. We'll get a proper read on this gap in a moment. It's definitely not as big as it was at the start of the lap. Can Pollock get there? There's the fight for third. Alistair May and Chris Mackenzie. And what is that lead margin then? It is a second. Well, let's call it 1.1 seconds. Oh, the three abreast further back. Meanwhile, Phil House on the inside. Chris Parks in the middle. And round the outside, I think was Stuart Bliss. Yes, it was Stuart. No, Andrew Dyer, sorry. The leaders are barrelling down into the final corner. And it looks to me as though Ben Spencer's going to do it. Yeah, another lap. And I think Brady Pollock would have given him some real challenge. But Ben Spencer is going to exit the final corner. And he's going to see the checkered flag to win the third round. Third race, I should say, of the Nankang Tyre CityCar Cup. Brady Pollock in second. And Alistair May comes home in third ahead of Chris Mackenzie and Richard Jep. Andrew Dyer, Phil House, Chris Parks, Stuart Bliss and Alex Foden, your top 10. What a race. That was fantastic stuff. And the pole position to the win in race number 3. Ben Spencer with the win, Brady Pollock second and Alistair May in third position. Pollock, the student motorsport competition winner. Then it was Chris Mackenzie fourth and Richard Jep in fifth ahead of Andrew Dyer, Phil House, Chris Parks, Stuart Bliss and Alex Foden the top 10.
Wow, what a race that was. Started P9. A bit of a delay before the race as well, so it's been a very long day, quite tired, but yeah, started P9, made up a couple of places early on and then got stuck behind Parks a little bit, but what a race. That's fun battling with Andrew Dyer and Stuart Bliss there. A few bumps and scrapes, so both my wing mirrors knocked in on the first lap, so I couldn't see anything side to side of me. A few hairy moments as I saw you see me get squeezed down the straight between the two Boston cars as well. That was a bit of a scary one. But overall, it's been an absolutely great weekend. Finished ahead of Stu in every race, which brings me back into the Drivers' Championship and also for the Student Championship as well. So I think it's going to be very tight now. I'll have the results, the points results and everything in the next video. I'll do that at the start. So you know where I'm standing. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed the weekend, absolutely shattered, and I've got a 6-hour drive home now, so yeah, really fun. Thanks to everyone that's come along this weekend as well, and thanks for the support. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button, comment, let me know how I'm getting on, any improvements I can make, and if you're really liking it, then subscribe. I'll be putting a lot more content up in the near future. Right, take care, see you later.